Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chesterton's Jest, where we shine an unflinching light on the joys, contradictions, and crises within today's Catholic Church and culture. If you're here for faith, wit, and a little righteous fire, you're in the right place. Smash that like button, share this video with your fellow troublemakers, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now then, shall we begin? Our topic, up for discussion today: Limping with Peter, on loving Rome without losing your nerve. Chapter 1. The habit we didn't notice forming. Something has changed in traditionally minded Catholic circles, and if we're honest, we all feel it. We don't just follow Rome anymore. We watch her, we track her, we monitor her. Every interview is clipped, every phrase is dissected, every offhand remark becomes a small theological emergency. Somewhere along the way, vigilance turned into surveillance. And it didn't happen because we hate the Church. It happened because we love her. That's the uncomfortable part. The instinct came from a good place. We saw confusion in the culture, instability in the West, moral collapse accelerating at an almost absurd speed. When the world goes mad, you instinctively look to Rome for clarity, and when clarity feels less sharp than you hoped, the anxiety sets in. So we began analyzing everything, and in doing so, many of us quietly lost peace. Chapter 2. When style feels like substance. Let's speak plainly about the Francis years. He was not a tight theologian in the public square. He did not speak like Benedict. He did not construct arguments like a Thomist professor. He preferred images. He preferred gestures. He preferred broad pastoral language that left space rather than drawing borders with a ruler. For some Catholics, that felt like oxygen. For others, it felt like fog. But here is the discipline we must recover. Tone is not dogma. Emphasis is not definition. A pastoral strategy is not a reversal of the creed. The Church binds the faithful through formal teaching, not through interviews or improvisational phrasing. That does not mean prudential critique is forbidden. It is not. It means that we must not collapse categories. The Church's indefectibility does not depend on rhetorical sharpness. It depends on Christ's promise. Discomfort does not equal apostasy. And yet many of us felt betrayal where there was, at most, imbalance. Chapter 3. The subtle shift of authority. Here is the more dangerous development, and it has nothing to do with modernists. It has to do with us. When frustration becomes constant, something inside begins to shift. You start thinking, if Rome says this clearly, I will trust. If Rome speaks vaguely, I will withhold. That instinct feels reasonable. It even feels protective. But if we are not careful, authority quietly moves. It moves from the see of Peter to the seat of our own judgment. That is a perilous relocation. Once you begin evaluating legitimacy based on personal comfort with tone or emphasis, you are no longer standing on a rock. You are standing on yourself. And none of us are stable enough to be our own magisterium. The Protestant instinct does not begin with hatred of Rome. It begins with exhaustion. Chapter 4. The Misunderstood Warning. When Fulton J. Sheen spoke about the ape of the Church, he was describing a counterfeit Christianity, something that mimics the form while draining the content, a religion that keeps the language but removes the cross, a humanitarianism that replaces redemption. That warning should sober us, but it must not become a hammer we swing at every papal imperfection. The counterfeit Church, if it emerges in fullness, will deny sin, redefine salvation, and empty doctrine. It will not merely frustrate theologians or prefer a different rhetorical tone. There is a difference between imbalance and inversion. If we cannot distinguish those, we will see apocalyptic fulfillment in every press conference. And that constant state of alarm is spiritually unsustainable. Chapter 5. We have been here before. We talk about our moment as though it were unprecedented. It is not. The 4th century nearly drowned in Arian confusion. The Western Schism left saints uncertain which claimant was legitimate. The Renaissance papacy suffered moral failures that make our era look tame by comparison, and yet the creed endured. The Eucharist remained. The Church did not dissolve. History is not gentle with Peter, but Peter remains. We should remember that before declaring every strain a sign of collapse. Chapter 6. What fidelity actually looks like. So, what do? We do not pretend everything is perfect. We do not canonize prudential decisions. We do not suppress legitimate theological concern, but we also do not detach. Critical fidelity means staying. It means loving Rome without romanticizing her. It means defending defined doctrine while resisting the temptation to become a parallel authority. It means refusing the cheap satisfaction of outrage. Outrage feels powerful. Endurance is harder. The papacy is not a personality we grade daily. It is an office sustained by Christ. If a pope governs in ways we find frustrating, that is not the end of the Church. It is a test of our maturity. Chapter 7. The seduction of being the few who see. There is something intoxicating about believing you are among the remnant who get it. It gives clarity to chaos. It makes every headline fit into a narrative. It explains everything. But spiritual life is not built on narrative satisfaction. If our vigilance produces agitation more than prayer, if our awareness of crisis produces anger more than fasting, then something is off. Prophecy, rightly received, humbles. It does not inflate. The temptation is not only modernism. The temptation is pride disguised as guardianship. Chapter 8. Limp with Peter. The Church may feel strained, she may feel bruised, she may even feel embarrassing at times, but she is still the bride. Limp if you must. Wrestle. Question prudence. Argue theology. But remain. Do not detach in the name of defending orthodoxy. Do not allow frustration to become fragmentation. The gates of hell are not held back by our commentary. They are held back by Christ. And fidelity, quiet, stubborn, patient fidelity, has always outlasted confusion. So stay with Peter, not because every moment is comfortable, but because Christ chose him knowing full well he would stumble, and he still does. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and share our passion for defending the true faith with a touch of humor, smash that like button. Share this video with your fellow troublemakers and subscribe so you never miss an episode. As Chesterton once said, a madman is not someone who has lost his reason. A madman is someone who has lost everything except his reason. So, let's keep our reason and our faith intact together. Thanks for listening. God bless you, and may the good Lord be praised.